Welcome to Cricbuzz Chatter in association with Cricbuzz 11, the fantasy gaming app from the house of Cricbuzz. Oh, if you're an Indian fan, I think you must be smiling now. It was a draw. Michael Vaughan thought it's going to be a bit of a rollover. Didn't happen. It was a bit of what you call a great escape. And that's what it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, brilliant from India. It was, high class technique, high class discipline, mindset. If you actually look at the innings, England got 2 wickets yesterday morning just before lunch. They got 2 wickets this morning just before lunch. They didn't pick up a wicket on the fourth afternoon or the fifth afternoon. The pitch was the winner. It was a road. It was flat. It didn't deteriorate as much as England would have expected. And Ben Stokes couldn't bowl the overs that he would have liked because of his body. But the pressure that these Indian players play with and the kind of way that they cope with it is remarkable for a young team. I always look at a young team that's going through transition. This is what this Indian side is under the new captaincy of Shubman Gill. One of the first traits that you want to put into your team is fight. Fight, and right till the end. And already inside four games, I can see that Shubman Gill and the management, they've installed a real kind of ethic of fighting right till the end, which is a great trait to have.
They started with Gill and Rahul. Again, a very grey, cloudy, typical English day when they want to bowl. Really, that's what it was. But, they got Rahul early. Ben Stokes was in the middle of a serious spell. The ball was kicking, it was keeping low, and it all happened from the Sir Jimmy Anderson end. It wasn't easy to bat, and he got the ball to talk quite a bit. Rahul, the first one to go, ball keeping a touch low, not much most batters could do with it. He batted beautifully for his 90 and 10. Gill was on the other hand. What he got was a few body blows. He was outstanding though, just finding a way to guts it out. He was almost playing that spell, knowing that if I get past Ben Stokes, this is my best chance to stay in the game. He managed to do it and then got his fourth 100 of the series, but he was impressive through this innings.
Yeah, he's already got more runs in a series against England than any other Indian player in the history of the game. So he's breaking records. He's playing great. His balance was back here. He lost his balance at Lord's slightly. I just like the way that he keeps calm. When you think he was in the field for 157 overs as a captain, and he said actually to the BBC after plays, he was in the toilet when the couple of wickets fell. He wasn't expecting to bat before lunch on day 4. He had to rush out there, and to play with so much composure and calmness and technical kind of prowess. He's a wonderful player, and I'm really enjoying him as a captain. I just like the way that he speaks. I love the fact that he kept his 2 players out there to get the hundreds. Whether it was the decisions of the players in the middle or the skipper, I think it's probably the 2 in the middle that could have walked off, shake Ben's hand. But I just like seeing little things like that. When you have batted so well, and I know it was a bit farcical, and I'm not too sure we'll see Harry Brooks-Hospin ever again. I think that's been put in the bin. It was a bit farcical, but if there was ever a couple of players that deserved 3 figures, it was Ravi Jadeja and Washington Sundar. And Washington Sundar to get his first. If you look at the cricket that he's played in the last couple of games at Lords and now here with the ball, with the bat, he's a wonderful cricketer. He really is. And his balance today was tremendous. England target him with the short ball. That's where they feel that they can get him. He played that quite nicely. He put Ben Stokes in the stand for 6. A real fighting, disciplined performance by India over the course of a day and 3 quarters. And I thought the pitch would deteriorate. I thought there would be a little bit more action. There was action for the right-handers batting, facing deliveries from the Sir Jimmy Anderson end. But other than that, when the left-handers came out, there wasn't anything there. This pitch was a road. It needs digging up. It needs digging up and replacing.
Actually, people who have come before to Manchester will know, and I'm sure Michael Vaughan has played, the whole strip was in a completely different direction. It used to be the other way around. Then they dug it up and changed it up, and things have changed. They said it's become really better to bat on. But just staying on Gill a little bit, first thing I want to say after hearing what you said, I think if you're an Indian captain, it's better you stay in the bathroom when the wicket falls, because the last person to do it was Kapil Dev against Zimbabwe in the 1983 World Cup. He went on to score 175 not out. Now that you say Gill has done it, he's gone on to score a wonderful 100 today. The god of cricket, as they say in India, Sachin Tendulkar, on the same ground, got his first 100 to bat out for a draw. And today, Shubman Gill has done that. And you can say he's Sachinist, but another batsman who's got more laurels over the years, just purely from a cricketing point of view, as big was Don Bradman. And that list and the names in that list, quite astounding if you just go through that. Donald Bradman with 810, Gill with 722, Chappell with 702, Clive Lloyd and Peter May to follow. So it's been a test series where He came in as a young captain, and people were not sure how it's going to pan out. But I can tell you, we have got a bona fide superstar as a test captain because of the guts that he's showing as a batter, because of how much he stands his ground about what he believes in. That last 10, 15 minutes, the way it unfolded, he was just standing there in the balcony, literally poker face saying, get out there, get your 100. Ben Stokes and team, I guess you guys have to feel down because it's your opportunity. And I quite like that in terms of body language.
Hey, you're in your right.
Yeah.
You're batting out in the middle. If you feel you want to bat a bit longer, you can bat for as long as the overs are being played. You're allowed to stay out there and get some more runs for your players. I like that as well. I like to see a young captain with a little bit of authority. I've actually loved the way that he's spoken. You know, he's not been scared to kind of poke the bear. I think
I think it suits you as well. You come across a guy who outside will just needle enough to get the opponents riled up, and it works. I mean,
well, it's not right. It's just it's standing up for your team. That's what you have to do. You've got to stand up for your teammates. You've got to stand up for what you believe in as a team. And so far, I'm seeing in Shubman Gill a captain that's willing to do that. I think the Oval is going to be quite heated. I thought this week it was actually played quite nice. There was one or two chirps out in the middle, but the Oval, probably on the back of what we've seen in the last 4 or 5 overs, it'll be a little bit heated. I guess it'll be which bowlers are going to be able to get their bodies right to be able to play in 3 days' time. And as a broadcaster and a pundit now, you kind of realise how hard it is out there for the players. I mean, to think that they're going to be back out there in 3 days' time, going head to head in another Test match, is remarkable. To think of the bodies, the minds. 20 days of Test match cricket in the series, which again is unheard of. To think that every game has gone right to the end of the 5th day, it's just unheard of. So the mental kind of drain in these players, the physical demands that this series is putting through them, I think the Oval will be a classic because of that. Because I think we might see a little bit of mental fragility. I think there might be one or two that's been a bit fragile, understandably, because it's been such a long series on both sides, by the way.
You tell me, you were part of that 05 series as well, and it was unbelievably competitive as well. Walking into that Oval game, which was your last game, were you tired mentally as a leader?
Yeah. But I was excited. We were 2-1 up, so it's like an excitement that something could happen that's not happened for a long period of time. And I guess England are 2-1 up, so they'll be disappointed that they've not got the wickets, but they couldn't have tried any more.
True.
Sometimes you look at a pitch and think, oh, it's got the better of the bowlers. And I looked at the angle changes that Ben changed on a regular basis. He went for the short three, he tried the spinners from both ends. There wasn't a great deal there for the spin. If anything, Joe Root probably looked the more threatening with the ball spinning away from the outside edge of the left-handers. It was a left-handers pitch. As much as the right-handers scored a few runs, the left-handers, Ben Stokes himself said, I felt really comfortable as a left-hander on this week. And he admired Washington Sundar coming in at 5. He probably looks at that and think that was a great tactical move to make sure there was 2 left-handers out there for that second new ball. When the second new ball came, it was important that obviously India saw it through. They lost Shubman Gill, and I thought, oh, here we go. This could be quite difficult for them. But the left-hander, the catch, Joe Root could have held that catch of Jadeja on the first ball. Could have been a different story. I guess yesterday afternoon, Shubman was dropped at backward point, but they're the only 2 opportunities. England didn't really create anything else because the pitch was difficult to create anything. And I admire India a huge amount because I've looked at them over the years, and that win in Australia, the last win where they were just depleted. Correct. Suddenly won in Brisbane.
Natarajan, Shardul,
they've got a spirit. You've got a natural spirit of fighting and just maximising what you have. Even when I think they got selection wrong this week, I think they'll probably openly, quietly admit that behind the scenes they didn't get the right attack for this kind of wicket. They have to get the right attack for the Oval wicket in a few days' time.
Yeah, when you look at how exciting it's turning out to be, another place where you get to play some exciting games, just like this India-England series, is in the Cricbuzz 11 app. All you need to do is download that app and pay ₹1, and you have a lot of exciting contests that you can play for. And another player today who was extremely exciting to watch from a completely different standpoint was Ravindra Jadeja. And that partnership between Jadeja and Washington Sundar had 92% control. You said the 11 wasn't probably chosen right, and I agree with it, but I just want to put this in saying India played 5 left-handers, the most ever that they've had in their top 8. And that was a tactical choice as well because they knew this pitch was better for left-handers than right-handers.
By the way, I forgot there was a drop catch at extra cover, Ollie Pope. There was 3, but that was a tough one. I think Joe's was a tough one. Yesterday afternoon, Liam Dawson, that should be taken. I've looked at the kind of teams walking off tonight, and I'm kind of looking at all the players thinking, how many of you are going to want to play on Thursday? I think we'll see changes from both bowling and attack.
It also a little outside this one. When you play a 5 test match series, it's important to give a bit more of a break, you think, because now things are really cramped because of times and schedules. Before it used to be almost 3 months if you want to play 5 series. Now it's in 1.5 months. So I know there was a bit of a break after the first and the third test, but do you think it calls for a little more break at times?
Well, when it goes right to the fifth day, I mean, you go back 20 years ago, you'd play a 5 day game and start in 2 days' time. So you'd finish on the Monday and start again on the Thursday. So that was changed in the UK to make sure, well, across the world, to make sure there was 3 days. But I look at the effort that these players are putting in on these pitches, which are flat and the balls aren't doing anything like what they used to do. 3 days seems a bit slim. 4 days, probably 5 days is required. But you start looking at when the game needs to start. And obviously a London game, you want to start it either on a Wednesday or a Thursday because you get the corporates in and obviously you make a huge amount of money. But they're going to have to show the spirit and the fight. Both teams have it in abundance, and I have no doubt that on Thursday morning they won't be firing ready to go because the bodies will be saying, come on, you're not asking us to go once again. But they'll be absolutely fine once the game starts. They'll be they know the series is alive. For England to win 3-1 will be a great caveat and a real kind of just reward for the way that they've played. But vice versa, if India won and it was 2-2, you'd have to say that India deserve a drawn series because over the course of the 4 matches going to be fifth, they've played some tremendous cricket.
Now, the one man who made it happen today with the bat, and we've seen it quite consistently, he's got 450s on the bounce so far in the series. The warrior, Jadeja, got 100 today, 107 not out. How do you rate that inning?
He's brilliant. I look at Ben Stokes for England in terms of the all-round quality. And, Jadeja's not far behind in terms of the all-round ability that Jadeja, obviously, is a left-arm spinner. He's not had the impact with the ball that Ben's had in this series, but the impact that he has with the bat, his balance, his composure, the way that he plays pace, the way that he plays spin, just defense spin, and every now and again, bosh, he just smacks one down the ground from nowhere. He can play the pressure. He just likes it. He smiles. He played one shot actually, DK, where he left it outside off stump, but he went to swish it, but he missed it by about a yard to try and put the keeper off. And new keepers get put off by things like that. And he went for a couple of byes. I just like his cheekiness. I like his cheek.
What he did with Joe Root when he was a 99 at Lords as well. Just threw the ball down and said, "Come on, try and run now."
Yeah, I just like his cheekiness. I just think he's got a bit of cheek. He's a rock star, as Shane Warne used to call him. He's got that competitive spirit inside that when the game gets hot and there's a lot of pressure on, he seems to be able to find calmness and composure. He's a brilliant cricketer.
For some time now in India, actually, I feel he's gone a little underrated purely because he's an all-rounder who gives so much with the bat, especially when India is stored abroad. Like in amongst people who've played in away tours, any all-rounder has got 1,000 runs and 30 wickets. Jadeja is right up there, and he's done it in England so far. It tells you what a player he's been. I mean, to be on the same list with Gary Sobers anywhere across time is an exemplary part of it. Wilfred Rhodes has done it as well, but that's quite an astounding effort because he was batting at 7. After Nitish Kumar Reddy came in, he got promoted to 6. Nitish went to 7, and today he feels like a bona fide number 6. Like him walking in makes you feel like, I know this guy just knows how to get it done. It gives you that kind of a feeling.
Yeah, and again, full credit to the management for putting Washington Sundar at 5 and kept Jadeja at 6. I thought they'd go Jadeja at number 5 and Washington at number 6, but clearly they wanted Jadeja at 6. That's why he's got really good numbers. It looks to me that that's locked in now. Jadeja is India's number 6, and he should be for a long period of time. I mean, his spin bowling in the UK has not been a massive threat, but he's done a decent job. But when you get back home in India and the pitches spin a bit, he's a huge threat.
I mean, imagine Jadeja, Washington Sundar, and Akshar Patel. That's quite a list. And let's talk about the other man that's been right in the middle of everything, Washington Sundar. Today he showed the skills. He's got tough conditions, Michael. I mean, Jofra Archer with the new ball is no easy work. And he's had partnership with different people across not formats, but across Test cricket for some time now, which is quite a telling stat.
Yeah, I mean, he opened the batting as a kid, so he's got a good technique and he knows how to face the new ball. But I think India have got some incredible cricket.
Do you think he's a perfect foil for R. Ashwin?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I love his off spin because he gets that natural drift and he gets that natural dip. I guess from watching England spinners today, Liam Dawson's a bit short. He didn't get that natural kind of drop and he didn't get that shape through the air. And Washington Sundar, of all the spinners that I'm seeing in the modern game, Nathan Lyon can get a bit of drift, but nowhere near as much as Washington Sundar. He just seems to get that beautiful kind of shape away.
You used to get a bit of drift, didn't you?
Well, thanks for mentioning it. Yeah, I think he's copying my action. Well, I hope he has it because mine was terrible. But yeah, that natural drift is a delight to watch. And I just look at that the all-round qualities of Jadeja, Washington, Sundar, Rishabh Pant. And hopefully Rishabh will be back sooner rather than later. Those three at 5, 6, and 7. You can build your team around that. You really can. Then you can decide what your number 8 is going to look like. Will it be Nitish Kumar already? And then you choose your best bowling options after that. But to have 3 quality all-rounders in your team, and they are quality all-rounders, it really is going to drive this in. Whatever happens at the Oval, this Indian side's in a decent space. I really feel that. And if they don't win at the Oval and they lose the series 3-1, I don't think it's doom and gloom. I still think, and I look at this Indian side, I think you've got plenty in the locker. And whatever happens here, they've got a kind of discipline and a culture that's being created that's going to serve them really well over the course of the next few years.
And let's talk a little bit about the English bowling. There was this one spell from Stokes where you just felt, boom, I think this guy is going to get the job done. And he was having a lot of pain on his right shoulder. I mean, he's battling so many injuries as we speak. It's not even easy being Ben Stokes right now because he's had a groin injury in Lords. He had a bit of a hammy issue. He got a cramp. Now he's got a bit of a shoulder issue. I mean, that guy is an absolute machine because having all those injuries, but still come and do a job. And when he bowled that spell, I promise you, any right-hander on this planet would have found it hard. He was swinging it was cutting in, it was jumping from length. He even hit Shubman Gill on his face once, and it was hard work. But apart from that, not much else stood out.
No, I mean, Ben Stokes is such a good cricketer that, you look at that, he only bowled 11 overs because his body just wouldn't, kind of react yesterday afternoon. He couldn't risk it. He tried this morning. His shoulder looked like it was falling off. It looked like he had a dodgy hamstring, a dodgy calf. He's got a dodgy knee. Yeah, he bowled the spell of the innings for England. He's the one bowler that can crack something open. And that's why I have a little bit of a concern that if you look at when England bowl with an old ball, from the 40th over to the 80th over, Ben Stokes in the series has got 6 wickets, around 30 apiece. Brydon Carr's, Jofra Archer haven't got a wicket in that period. And Chris Woakes has got one at around 100. So he's that important to this England side that you look at the Oval this week, how much bowling can he do? He might have to have a week like we saw at Edgbaston where he didn't bowl that much, but I would think he'll have a break afterwards. So he could probably just kind of go for it at the Oval. I look further down the track in Australia. It's becoming more important by the minute that he stays fit because with him on the field, I think England can beat anybody. Without him on the field doing everything, and that's using all his all-round qualities. If he can just play as a batter and a captain, obviously he's very, very good. But without his bowling, I think we've seen here today that if he can't bowl for England, England will find it difficult to get 20 wickets on pitches like we see here at Old Trafford.
And what's with England, actually, it's obviously from a very funny, light-hearted standpoint. At Lords, you didn't want to come to bat. Here, you didn't want to field after a point. You wanted to just walk away. How does it sit well with you that last 15, 20 minutes?
Oh, if I'd have been India, I'd have done exactly that. I quite like the smile from Shubman on the balcony. This has been quite a good series in a way, but it got a bit hostile at Lords, and I guess today we'll probably make it a bit more hostile at the Oval. You're in your right to carry on batting. If you've batted for such a long period of time and you've had to wear a few and you've played and missed and Jofra Archer's, bowled a few bounces to you and you suddenly get to 85 and you're 15 away from your first century, you're allowed to stay out there and bat. I will say this, I think Harry Brook can just work on his front shoulder. I think he can get round a bit and just pivot a bit more if he wants to bowl his off spin again. But it was a bit farcical, but England would have done exactly the same. If they'd have had a young player out there on 85 in a similar situation, there's no way in a million years that England would have said, come off. They'd have said, stay out there, get your first 100, and we'll shake the opponent's hand. And as Shubman Gill has said afterwards, he said, this feels like a victory for his team. And, when you think of the crowd that were in, there was a huge amount of Indian support. To see 2 Indian players out there, 100 not out, shaking England's hand, they should take a huge amount of confidence from that.
Look, there are a few tired bodies at the end. You got to understand from England's point of view, they'd feel it 140 overs. But this is definitely a moral victory for India. They were down and out at lunch.
Hey, that's England's what England always say, moral victory. We're the moral victorious ones. You can't have a moral victory.
Correct.
England had a moral victory in the last Ashes series.
We're learning from you.
Right.
Always.
So this is a moral victory, isn't it?
Absolutely. It was much more than moral because the fact is that India were down and out yesterday. It's 1 for 2 at the end at lunch. You just felt like, oh my God, India is going to get rolled over here. But then to fight, KL Rahul and Shubman Gill started it off, and then Washington Sundar and Jadeja finished it off. It was brilliant. It went to a point where anybody would cross to zero. The least scorer was KL Rahul. He got 90, which is not a bad thing. But the fact is that towards the end, there was a bit of hostility, but it was all in good spirit because, as Michael said, and I appreciate what he said, because it is in India's right to bat, and they did the right thing. Washington was closing in on his first 100. Remember, before this, his highest score was 96 not out, and he's only got 2 first-class hundreds before this, so he's earned the right to get 100. And I think India did the right thing in standing the ground and saying, no, we want both of them to get 100, even if it means some absolute filth that Harry Brook bowled. If it meant it needed to be tongued, and that's what they did.
His flight was okay.
You're not happy with the hip?
No, I'd just like to see him use the facilities a bit more.
He didn't believe there was much in the pitch. But India have actually gone through a series where they've been really pushed, a lot of pressure moments. But this game will give a lot of confidence because they came from the back. They were consistently behind in the game. The fact that they still were able to stay in the game, not having Pant around, knowing that he's not probably going to be able to bat, doing all of that, quite an outstanding effort. Yeah. It's not too many times that India actually has scored 350 and bettered it the second innings. It's rarely happened. You can see probably the 5th time so far that it's happened. To come back on a day like this, which was cloudy, grey, when they bowled, the sun was out, it was great to bat. But they came here. Yes, the pitch didn't have too many demons for the left-handers, but to still stay out there for 140 overs is a good effort.
Magnificent. That comes from drive in the dressing room. It comes from a huge amount of skill. The fight for the team. The aspect of knowing that they batted badly and you lose 2 wickets, and I don't care who you are. Yesterday afternoon, most people were packing the bags.
True.
Everyone was looking at train times. How we're going to get out of Manchester, get back to London. Everyone was doing that. And to see the fight and to see that partnership, and I'll keep talking about the captain because the captain has to drive it. He has to drive the culture. And the best way to drive a culture and to send the message to the rest of the team is, this is what I want. I want us to fight right till the end. You can do it out in the middle. And that's exactly what he did. He batted and batted and batted. He got a decent ball in the end from Jofra Archer because he thought it was angling. It bounced and it went away. So it's not a bad ball. And then he's kind of installed already very quickly into his captaincy reign this ability to never give up. It's happened throughout the whole series, and both teams, Ben Stokes and Baz McCullum, created that in the England dressing room in a different way, in a really expansive way. England have created this vibe of you never give up and you can get back in the Test match quickly. That's what England try and do, whereas India have tried to do it in a kind of similar way, but with a real attritional play. I thought the afternoon session today was tremendous because I was looking at that trail. I think they were trailing by 88 at lunch. I thought they could score a few more runs here. They've got to start looking at the scoreboard and getting some run. Straight after lunch, Jadeja and Washington came out, bop, 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 started scoring runs. I thought, that's the way to play. You've got to knock off the deficit. You've got to get ahead, and then it all starts to become an equation where England really find it difficult to win the Test match. And once they got past England, you could kind of look down and think, well, the pitch wasn't doing a great deal. And you could sense that England knew. They knew that the chance of winning had pretty much gone. But that comes from the captain. The talk of Gautam Gambhir and the coach and the backroom team, they can only do so much. The captain has to leave the culture of that fight, and he did it out in the middle.
And that takes us to the hotspot. At Lord's, walking into the last day, 6 wickets in hand, India faltered. But today, at Manchester, walking in with 8 wickets in hand, they have managed to draw this test, stay in the game. And also, the fact that in 2021-22, when India came to England, India were ahead 2-1, walking into Edgbaston and managed to lose the test. It became 2-2. Previously, when England were actually 2-1 in the 2018-19 series, they went on to comfortably win at Oval. Put everything into context. How much of an impetus is this game for India?
Well, I think as I said before, even if they lose at the Oval, I've seen enough in this series that they're going to be fine. This young team are going to be fine going forward. But if they can get to the Oval and win, and they can level the series, it'll be a tremendous series, and the first series for a young captain. The combination with the captain and the coach is an important one. If you can draw your first series, I look back to my first series against South Africa, and we went to the Oval 2-1 down, and we managed somehow to win that last game against South Africa, and we drew the series 2-2, and we had the likes of Freddie Flintoff, Steve Harmison, Simon Jones, Martin Bicknell played. He was our senior pro, Martin Bicknell. But it was like the start of something. We worked hard before. We didn't play great at Headingley. We got blown away, and then we went down to the Oval, and Gave, I think, South Africa 480. We thought, oh, God, we're knackered now. And then Trescothick gets a double, Graham Thorpe gets 100 on his comeback into the side, and we managed to win the test match. It was a massive boost for me as a captain. To think in my first series, I've not lost a series against a quality South Africa side. And I look at Shubman Gill and think, oh, if he can get to the Oval and win, and they can be 2-2 away from home in the UK. Coming to the UK over the course of the last, 15, 20 years has been one of the hardest challenges.
True, very.
It's not as hard as going to India or, sometimes going to Australia, but
it is from an Indian point of view. I think England, Australia, these are very tough countries to tour.
Yeah, and coming here, there's not many teams coming here and win. And the next best thing, can you draw a series here? Australia have drawn the last 2 series here, 2-2. In India's last tour here was 2-2, but that was a different India side, a lot more experience, and obviously Virat at the helm. I look at Shubman. If he can get his team selection right first and foremost, he has to get his team.
So, if you had to give any advice for Gill and Gambhir walking into that Oval Test, what would that be?
Well, I think it'll be more of a kiss the deck kind of week where you can get a bit more swing and shape at the Oval. So you need those bowlers that can bowl that fuller length naturally and bring the batters forward and offer the drive. It's not like here at Old Trafford, you generally whack the pitch because it's rock hard and you try and get that uneven bounce. You don't generally get uneven bounce at the Oval, but you can get lateral movement. So it's pitch up bowlers that can get lateral movement. You look at Shardul Thakur last time, he got a few wickets with the pitch up style. Chris Woakes is a really good bowler at the Oval because he kisses the deck, pitches it up. Jimmy Anderson's record there, pitches up. Stuart Broad pitches it up. So they're the kind of bowlers that have success at the Oval. But obviously batting can be pure as well. It's a place that the outfield's usually rapid. You just keep your shape and it flies away. And you've got to really capitalise on certain kind of conditional changes. So when the clouds come in at the Oval, you can see the ball hoop around just for a period. You have to maximise it.
And that generally comes when India bats.
Yeah, generally when England bat, the sun comes out. You know the script. So it's a perfect. I think of all the pitches in the UK, you could argue that the Oval's the best cricket wicket, and it will be that the team that plays the best cricket. I know this sounds very obvious, but the team that play the best disciplined cricket will win. You don't generally have fortune at the Oval. It's not that the toss makes a massive difference.
True.
I just think if the team comes and plays really disciplined, hard cricket, and the batters realise and respect that off stump and don't go chasing it, you generally can get a lot of runs. And England have had success there, but they lost to Sri Lanka there last year. They lost a test match to Sri Lanka from nowhere. So it's also a ground that England have lost games of cricket over the last 15, 20 years. So India have got a great chance to get their selection right. But I think England will be confident as well because they've got bowlers who naturally bowl that fuller length.
Now that you speak about some of the bowlers, the changes, what would the changes that England be looking at?
I'll be interested to see what the bodies are like.
Okay.
I think it'll come down to, over the course of the next 2 or 3 days, just working out, Ben Stokes will play without any question, but how much can he bowl? I look at Josh Tongue, I think he'll probably come back in. Gus Atkinson, if he's fit, he might replace Brydon Cast. I guess Chris Woakes, can he play a whole series? We'll have to wait and see. He's not getting any younger. It'll be the case of Jofra Archer as well. Can Jofra play 3 on the trot? Now it's 2-1. If it was 3-1, it's easy. You just change all your attacking, you give everyone a go. Now it's 2-1 and you have to win. If they're ready to go again, it wouldn't surprise me if they get thrown the ball. After this series, they've got a decent break. They can rest and have a few weeks off. So it might be that I don't want them to risk anything with Jofra Archer. If there's any kind of the red zone, you've been in coaching, you have red zone. If he's close to the red zone, he just can't play. We can't risk that Jofra Archer would pick up a nasty injury. So Josh Tongue can easily replace Jofra Archer. That's like a like for like. And I guess Gus Atkinson, his hamstring, is it ready to go over the course of 5 days? And that'll be a decision that England will make.
And India will have some changes as well because we don't know if, for sure, Pant is not going to be available from what we're hearing. The fact that Jasprit Bumrah is obviously someone that you need to look after, that's a big question there as well. Now, amongst the bowlers, I would think that Anshul Kamboj will not probably make it to that squad, even though that's a pitch that could be very useful. Shardul Thakur, given what Michael is saying, is the kiss the deck kind of bowler, which will definitely probably help him. And the fact that he played really well the last time he was there. Is it going to be Prasidh Krishna or Arshdeep? One of them. And the fact that Siraj has played 4 tests on the bounce and he's bowled beautifully, he's given his heart out. Whether he still has something in the tank left for him when he reaches the whole test. Lots of questions.
He'll go again.
He will go again.
He's a worry. He'll go again. Arshdeep Singh.
Arshdeep Singh, yes.
Left armour for the off spinner.
But you're not playing Kuldeep, are you?
No, I don't think I am. I mean, I guess if we get down to the Oval, it's a real dry one. You could look at going 3-3, but I can't imagine it'll be really dry.
Having said that, Driver, do you think England will look at certain kind of pitches which probably assist the bowlers a little more?
I think they'll want a bit of grass.
Right.
They'll want to see a bit of carry through to the keeper. So, the Oval generally is a pitch that carries through nicely to the keeper, but it's a good pitch because over the course of the Test match, the footholes develop nicely and they become a little bit crumbly and spin can play a part. But, if it gets to that stage, it generally takes 3 days, and the fourth and fifth day it starts to spin. And you've got Washington and Jadeja will cause plenty of action if that's the case. And I guess that with our deep thing for the off spinner, Washington Sundar, left arm over, create a bit of rough. We might finally, throughout the series, we've seen no rough outside the off stump at the right hand. Finally, a right hander might take guard if a left armer plays, and he might see a bit of dirt outside his off stump.
True, very true. And there's lots of things that are on the cards purely because India have a chance to level it, and the fact that the batters have been in prime form. The bowlers have gone okay, but at times they've actually been, I won't say the word struggling, but they found it hard to pick up wickets, and it's been the same with England as well. Overall, it literally makes up to a very, very exciting game at the Oval. Now, if you also want to do something really exciting, all you need to do is download the Cricbuzz 11 app, and you get to play a lot of exciting contests. All you need to do is pay ₹1 after getting that app, and you can definitely play some exciting contests. On that note, I have to say the Manchester Test, even though didn't produce a result, actually produced some really thrilling cricket. It was great to watch. Both teams going at each other.
You've enjoyed the weather, haven't you?
I wouldn't say completely, but yes, a lot of the times I have. It's been a little bit cold for me at times, but overall, I must say it's been cool. Something that we haven't got in the summer. It's been really warm. It's been a city that is hustling and bustling even at 10 in the night. That has been very, very
You've been out at night?
Yeah, some, long late night dinners with the Sky crew. And yesterday we went at 11:15, I think, when we finished. So it's been good. And when you walk through that city center, there's a lot happening, you must admit.
Yeah.
When the weather is good, it's
a lively town, is Manchester, and I'm glad you've been well looked after.
I see a very sarcastic undertone there, but it was good to have a meal there.
I bet you're happy to go to London now, aren't you?
I think so. My family is waiting as well. My dad has come for the first time to the UK, so
where's your little son? I haven't seen him since It's on the Sweets.
I'm literally pleading with him to take him to the summer camp in cricket. That's going to happen tomorrow as well. So yeah,
is he a batter or
he does everything. Batting, bowling.
Not a keeper.
He does a little bit, but I'm telling him, the big box is there in this business.
Is he coming to the Oval?
He is.
I'll have a word. I'll get him some more sweets. I'll have a word with him. Tell him to about leg spin and whack it.
On that note, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we will see you back. Same place. Cricbuzz Chatter in association with Cricbuzz 11. Take care, and I'll see you from the Oval.